Hey,
I'm ready to go.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to We Have Something to Say with Kenneth Lively and Leonard Watkins. I'm already live. Don't do that. You about to fuck it up. Kenneth's just sitting here trying to figure some stuff out. He asked me right before we went on the air, and if it's a little bright, because I am doing this from not in my normal spot, but from in my downstairs. So welcome. You know, I'm a little snowed in. It's ice all on the roads and snow all up here and blah, 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 blah. So I'm gonna be sitting. That's all I've been doing is sitting in the house trying to figure out social media. I was gonna do the show today about mental health issue for men until Mark Zuckerberg started showing his ass in the last 2 days. And it bothered me enough to where, as I called one of our most loyal watcher, Marion, and I was asking him about some decisions I've made. And then Mark Zuckerberg drops a bombshell last night to me, which is he goes on this lady's account who only has 253 followers and says, because she's questioned about whether his morals and whether what he's doing has any principles and should we still stay on Facebook. And he gets on her account. 253 people. And he says anybody that decides they're going to leave Facebook, he ain't worried about it because they virtue signaling. Of course, me not really knowing what virtue signaling means, I jump on and look up what the definition is because always these new definitions coming up. And basically what Mark Zuckerberg saying is, y'all do shit like that just for public accolades, but y'all really ain't about that life. He ain't worried about y'all. Because that's what virtue signaling is. And the arrogance of this man to do that. And I you know, for those of y'all that know me, y'all know I'm a big fan of Roland Martin. And for people, some of you are, you know, for those that watch today, you're probably not gonna like some of my language. I really don't give a damn, so I probably won't be on here anyway. DEI is just a new word for nigga. That's it. And for a community, this is what always gets me about stuff. For a community that's always trying to leave people alone and just level the playing field the best way we can, to constantly get attacked with words that anybody that's being honest with themselves, the representation of DEI is either a black woman or a black man. People don't see trans. Anybody tells you that is a liar. Trans people represent less than 1% of the damn population. Black people represent about 15%. And to get on there with such arrogance, to me, is beyond the pale. To act like people aren't going to start having these feelings of, hey man, we help you make a lot of money, which we do. To get on here and use these code words, because that's going to be the easiest way for you to survive this administration, just rubs me the wrong way. There are millions of Facebook followers who are dead that Zuckerberg, but he will not delete them. Yeah, that's true. I mean, well, I don't know that to be true. I don't work for Facebook. I do know. I know some people who are no longer living whose Facebook pages are still up. So I would imagine that possibly could be true. My point is, I don't really know what to do with that. Because we've seen, as I watched on Roland's show the other day, and I watched a Howard professor say, he kept saying, I don't understand what the disconnect is. You know, the disconnect that this category 5 that's coming from the ocean and people act like it's not coming, particularly our community, that we're still talking about stuff. Yeah, I'm not saying your whole life has to be immersed in this shit. And I get it that you would want it to. But if you literally were at war, you saw an army coming over the hill that's about to send you back to not slavery, but damn near segregation, and then, which might not be a bad idea, but with all the rights and the limits of segregation, would you be talking about your cookouts and your vacations? If you thought somebody was going to take away your ability to go where you want to vacation at, would you really be talking about all that other stuff? Because we see these proclamations all the time. I'm not my ancestors. You motherfucking right, you're not your ancestors. You sure not. We done got soft. And it probably is funny because Kenneth, you have all permission to tell me to stop talking because I know I'm rambling. I won't be offended. It probably does go into what our mental health is when you're constantly being assaulted. When people are sitting here telling you that you're not being assaulted. And they're telling you that you just started stuff that you really don't want to start. You just want to live life literally on a remotely level playing field. Even we've already gotten past this point. We know that's not going to happen, but they still won't leave us alone. And we still won't make them pay a price for leaving us alone. And we can make them pay a price. We just don't have the will to do it. That whole national championship game, I think you would agree, Kenneth, could not be played if it wasn't for all those black bodies on that field.
Well, it would be played. It just wouldn't be as exciting.
It would, yeah. Nobody would watch. That's my point.
It wouldn't be as exciting,
Right.
Which is the reason why football or sports was at these major colleges was integrated to begin with. Because we brought the thunder, and we really did.
And you can go and find it on a documentary with Bear Bryant. It's a great documentary. Talks about it. Literally says, what do you say, Kenneth? We got to go get us some of them boys. But the only way
he played that was a UCLA or something like that.
Yeah, he played USC.
USC, and they had black players, and he didn't, and USC beat the shit out of him.
And he invited them down because he couldn't get the administration and the legislators of Alabama to allow him to integrate his football team. So he invited USC down to come to Tuscaloosa, paid for them, paid them, got their asses kicked to show the legislation. You want to keep winning, this is what you're going to have to do. But we still send our kids there for selfish reasons to say, my kid got a scholarship to Alabama, Georgia, Florida, as if there's no other place they could go. There's not a team in the country that wouldn't take your kids to send the message that we won't keep sending black bodies down there to make y'all make money as you continue putting these policies in place that suppress our right to vote. It's the height of selfishness.
It's changed now. All that has changed now that they have that NIL money.
Right. Exactly.
These kids are chasing the money now, which is kind of, on some level I understand, but there's stuff that they're doing, and that's all a totally different subject altogether.
But it goes into what you're saying. You're right. It goes into what you're saying. I'm gonna tell you how. Because you had the NIL money, you can make easier decisions. You got the number one basketball prospect of 2025 going to Brigham Young. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So, which says that you have choices that you can make that won't affect your 5-star high school athlete, but will be good for the community by saying we won't participate in these states that are carrying out. And they're going to change it tomorrow. We know that. But you won't do it. And then you wonder why Zuckerberg comes out and says it. Because he watches your will. He watches what you aren't willing to do. He watches. He knows, hey, people are so into it, just like this show we're doing today. Because from here on out, I'm pretty sure it'll be broadcast on Kenneth's Facebook site because I won't have one. He knows that people don't have the will to say, I'm not going to pay for you to oppress me. I'm not going to pay for you. It's like the people we talk about all the time. You still buying a Tesla? Like that's really on your list of cars to buy if you're African American? A Tesla? Well, General Motors does the same thing. They're not openly showing disdain for us. The CEO of General Motors.
Hey, I will say this: the big three, historically have taken care of black people. The rise of the black middle class in Detroit was because of the big three. Now, they may have always been treated right and got the promotion, but they did get the jobs. And, you and I, we both, you went to Morehouse, I went to Tuskegee, and we know that there were, I'm sure you know a lot of people from Detroit. And I can guarantee you, majority of the kids that you went to school with from Detroit, their parents worked for the big three.
Work for the big three. Can I piggyback on that? After we say Cadillac, when Cadillac was about to go out of business during the Depression. Because what's the white boy with the beard? That's his whole platform is about Black history. The white boy, you know what I'm talking about. The big burly white boy with the beard. He always does Black history facts. He did a whole thing on Cadillac that I even didn't know about how Cadillac saved GM because Black people, which I didn't know this, because Black people couldn't get bank accounts, they had so much cash during the Depression, which is why Black people didn't get hit as hard because they saved most of their money under their mattresses. So they were able to go and buy Cadillacs because one guy at Cadillac said, hey, man, Black people like Cadillacs. Maybe we got to go to them. And they were opposed to it. They took his idea and saved Cadillac. So the big three were like, okay, there's some money there.
And see, and the thing is, the other part of it, too, in terms of saving Cadillac and GM, the Black men, and they were mostly focusing on Black men. Black men couldn't buy new cars.
Right.
They had to go get a white man to buy the car for them.
Right.
They give the white man the money to go buy the car for them. And the guy who was who was working for GM told Cadillac, told them, it's like, listen, start selling cars to Black men.
Right. Open up a
Stop
showroom.
this thing of not trying to let a Black man buy your car because I'm telling you, they're the ones who are buying Cadillacs. And even though they had that corporate mentality of not selling new cars to Black people, they finally realized because they actually started doing the research, looked at his research, and they started going out, and all the people they saw buying Cadillacs were Black people. Black people driving were Black men.
Right. And buying them through third parties, like you said,
party. Because they wouldn't even get that's the thing. They recognize, oh shoot, there's money in this.
Right. And so, it's always the case. And that's what we're talking about. We start talking about the NIL and what power do we have to change the policies on a policy level? Because that's all really, me and Kenneth might get on here and talk a lot of shit, but really all we're talking about really is how do you change it on a policy level? How do you protect this on a policy level? What do you have to do?
I'm going to say this.
Go ahead.
I one of the things with you, what you're saying about DEI. Now, some of the rhetoric that's coming out is strategic because of who's coming in the White House and all this and all that bullshit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but before there was such thing as DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion department in companies, a lot of these companies were already doing it. They just didn't have a department that was totally devoted to it. So my thing is this. I don't care if you get rid of the DEI department as long as you continue the DEI initiatives. And that's my thing.
Me and you, we're on the same page. I agree.
If you come out and announce that you're getting rid of your DEI department, but you still got people in there who are focusing on DEI initiatives, then that's fine with me. And you ain't got to tell me. You don't have to tell me that you have a DEI department, a secret DEI department.
But you got to show me.
Right. Continue to show me. And that's the thing that I listen more to. Instead of listening to what the people say, I focus on what they're doing.
I agree. Remember we had this conversation.
Like McDonald's got rid of their DEI. Damn, I just realized they got a damn fire named after me. What the hell they gonna name that fire after me for?
Remember I said last week. Remember I said last week. I said I am in a quandary when I tell people about Walmart, because you could say what you want to say about Walmart making this announcement. Walmart opened up a grocery store right here in the heart of a African American neighborhood where there wasn't one.
Right.
You know, so
It's that whole
right.
thing. That's the thing. We are upset about them closing the DEI department or whatever, however you want to say it. We're upset about that. But are they going to continue with that process? Because that's more important. The name, I don't, and this is the thing. If they had never ever named a DEI, had a department that would DEI, head of DEI and all that, and they were already doing that stuff, and they continue to do it, right when they had nothing to say, because they wouldn't have known nothing about it. The thing is, they take something, and as you said, they take something and something that's positive and turn it into negative, because that's what the motherfuckers do.
Yeah, and but let's be clear.
Let's see, this is the thing. They use stuff as slogans.
Right.
So my thing is, don't give them ignorant motherfuckers a slogan. Just go out and do it.
That's
you don't have to have, like I said, in my opinion, you don't have to have a department with that name on it.
You don't. But here's the thing. Let me say this, what DEI represents. I watched a lady again on Roland the other day, because Roland brings on his people. And she started talking. She's like, look, DEI just is not hiring Black managers or Black execs. She's like, I work for 4 major corporations. Diversity, equity, inclusion means I go and I get Black vendors. And I get Black buyers. And I buy from vendors who traditionally didn't have a way to get into the door. It's the same with the government. It's like me and Marion talk about this all the time. It's taxation without representation in the government. If you're taxing me all this money, but you're then saying that I can't come and get government contracts, that's taxation without representation. I can't get my roads fixed. I can't get all the stuff that everybody. So I'm paying for everybody else's stuff, but you won't give me money to do my own. And so in the private sector, it's just called diversity, equity, and inclusion. It was, we're going to go out and seek out these people we typically didn't seek out. And I'm a firm believer in strategy. You and I completely agree on this. I'm a firm believer that the next time around, and I've seen many Black women say this, next time around, we need to be willing to let whoever it is, and it coming up in the midterms, let them say whatever they have to say, as long as their policies are sympathetic towards our needs. It's not something we haven't ever done. If you got to go out and say, hey, don't you think the announcement is just to keep profits up behind us, and they keep doing what they do, then that's what Kenneth's saying. But here's the problem. Here's the slippery slope I would say to you and Kenneth. The most effective medium is pictures and what people see. It's why the motion picture industry is why you have propaganda films. So you have to be very, very careful about what you're saying if you aren't giving signals off. And maybe he is. I don't know. I was going to come on here and say that, Kenneth, I'm going to say it, because I know I'm all over the place. Man, if he went to if he's gone to some of the quote unquote Black leaders and say, hey, this is what I got to do, man, they need to get the word out way quicker than they are. That's what he's doing.
But see, hold on. You know what though? And this is my thing. And I've said this before. We don't have to announce every strategy. Just go ahead and implement it. Because when you announce it, you're basically asking for permission. When you go ahead and implement it and they find out about it later on down the line, oh well, we'll just change up the name of it. Or just go ahead and continue what we're doing, and we just won't let you know what we're doing. That's what I think we need to do. He doesn't need now. The thing about talking about the lady who said she was gonna leave, he shouldn't have gone in. And I doubt, I'm gonna be real honest. I doubt he actually went on there and did that. That probably was somebody who worked with his department, worked for him.
He's doing the Elon Musk. Now Elon Musk jumps on Twitter and jumps on all these people's pages. Like he jumped on Laura Loomer's page and all these small.
So why would he jump on this one lady with 200-something people following her?
Because I'll tell you why. That's a message to people like me and you, the little small people. that y'all aren't immune for us coming after you too.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you something.
Think about it. That's a message. When you normally going after the big fish, you go after them to chill the small fish. But if you start directly, because what he's doing is he literally said that I'm getting rid of fact checkers, and he came out and said I'm gonna do pretty much essentially what Twitter is doing, what X is doing. We're gonna call them community notes. Why do I think Zuckerberg had to announce it? I keep telling y'all why Zuckerberg had to announce it. You have a vindictive man that's the president-elect. And there's one group that voted for the president-elect at an 88% clip. That's the African-American community. So who do you think that president-elect tends to go after people? A couple of people I'm worried about. African-American community, Michael Cohen, Cassidy Hutchinson. I keep telling people, that's what I'm worried about. You see I'm going after Liz Cheney. If I'm Cassidy Hutchinson, I'm terrified. And that's directly related to us not protecting Cassidy Hutchinson for whatever fucking reasons we got. Cassidy Hutchinson did not have to do what she did.
I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead.
You're talking about how he's going after them. He's going to go, and I assume you're talking about using the Justice Department to go after these people.
Not just justice. How would you do it? Let me ask you this. I'm all honesty. If you were him, in all honesty, let's start this conversation. How would you go after people? How would you?
I wouldn't do it. It ain't that deep.
That's not what I asked. I'm not asking you to be Kenneth.
Oh, you asking me how I would do it? First of all, okay, if you're asking Kenneth don't care. I'm not. I'm petty as hell.
Okay,
so I ain't going after Cassidy Hutchinson or Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen has already done his stuff. What they gonna get it for? Cassidy Hutchinson. What does he go? If he says the Justice Department after her, FBI or whomever after her, he ain't gonna have her killed. So let's rule that part out. That ain't gonna happen.
I just asked you, how would you do it?
I can't think of any way. I can't think of any way that's legitimate.
I'll give you a way. I'll give you a couple of ways. What would I do? I think you agree with me. First of all, first thing I'll do is I'll send the IRS after you. That's number one.
Okay.
I'll send the IRS after you.
I was thinking the same thing. But that's how I'm gonna start. Even if you send the IRS after,
right?
How far is that going to go?
It doesn't matter, because all I want to do is I want to break you. So if I send the IRS after you and you have to go and get legal representation costs money. If you don't have money, now I'm coming to say I'll send the IRS after you first. That's number one. Then if I'm that petty and I got Kash Patel up there as the FBI director, I start doing other little stuff to harass you. See, I can do all those things quietly. Remember how you told me, because you pointed this out and you were very true. Remember you told me when the Black Lives Matters movement, he brought all those people up there and none of them had on name tags?
Oh, yeah.
All those law enforcement officials, none of them have on name tags, but they all had on face masks. So the question becomes, he's that petty. So what do you do to those people? If Liz Cheney, somebody like that, she has the financial wherewithal or a big enough name that you just can't go after her without it being some backlash, because she got her own platform to get the word out. So Harry said, well, expound on what can you do to Zuckerberg? Well, the FCC, which one is it? Who does a what is that?
FCC.
Yeah. He's already said that they were going to go after social media sites that they felt were putting out misinformation and trying to get criminal charges against them. Precisely, Harry. This is what people are saying. Dude, you got $200 million. You could have waited this out for 2 years. But
he also has a board of directors.
But
right, probably more scared he is.
He put Dana White on the board, and he just made Kaplan, who was Trump something, head of worldwide something. But if I'm one of them, I'm sitting in their shoes. I go, what has happened to all the other people who set up and who What did all those people, who protected those people? Who protected Shay Moss and her mom? Who protected Judge Washon when they were threatening them? Who protected the head of the Republican Party in the Arizona State House when they're out in front of his house as his daughter was dying of cancer, harassing the hell out of that man? What's his name? Rusty what? Rusty something.
Oh, I don't remember that. I don't know about that.
Hey, take over right quick. Let me take care of something right quick. Take over. Keep going. Keep going. I'm coming right back. Let me take care of this. Keep on.
As he walks off the show, so very unprofessional.
You're so full of shit.
Oh, so I'm gonna switch it up a little bit, y'all, because I wanted to talk about this. And since I'm taking control of the show right now, I'm running things now. We're gonna talk about what I want to talk about, because I'm the man right now. I'm the Mickey Ficky man. First of all, happy good morning, y'all. The something that I want to get to, and it sort of goes along with along the lines of what we're talking about, what we were talking about in terms of getting back at somebody. So yesterday, those of you in Georgia know that we had this ice and snowstorm. Well, I shouldn't say snowstorm. It was more ice that came through Georgia. That came through, and majority of the state of Georgia, where this storm went through the path and basically followed I-20, it hit Atlanta area. They shut down the schools down there. Everybody in between here in Atlanta, Augusta and Atlanta, they shut their schools down. But Richmond and Columbia County did not. Now, they said, well, the real bad stuff is not going to hit till 3:00. I normally get up at 5:30 in the morning to get ready for school, and now because I got to be there at 6:55 every morning, all that stuff. When I woke up, I looked outside. Oh, and they told us, they sent an email on Thursday afternoon saying at 5:00, saying that school is going to open normally, but we're going to close at 12 because of bad weather is not going to hit until after 3:00. So we're going to shut the schools down at 12:00 or around 12:00, and then we get all the kids back home. When I got up at 5:30, I looked outside. It wasn't much going on, hardly anything going on. By the time I left, or when I was getting ready to leave around 6:30, it started raining. Then that rain turned to ice. So as I'm driving to work at 6:45, ice is coming down in the street. I thought that was very irresponsible for them to have us go to school. Not because it's not because of how bad the weather might be at 3:00, but because the weather was bad at 6:30 in the morning, which they had to know was going to happen. If there's a chance of any type of inclement weather in the state of Georgia in terms of ice or snow or anything like that, most school systems shut down because we don't have the equipment to handle that type of stuff. They have some stuff, but they're going to hit the major roads, the highways and all that, expressways and all that first. They're not going into neighborhoods. And most accidents that happen, in coming from somebody who had to do a whole lot of accidents in my time, they don't happen on highways. They happen on roadways, the local streets. So for them not to shut down the schools, not to make things, not to say, hey, we're going to let these kids stay at home because it's safer for them to be at home. And we're going to let the staff, the faculty and staff of these schools, administrators of these schools stay home because it's safer for them to be at home than it is to be on these roads, because we don't want something to happen to these people. The arrogance of the people, the leadership in Augusta, in Richmond County, in Columbia County, to think that they should not close schools. And the trip part about it is, the only reason they had him come to 12:00 was because, and not because of the weather, because they didn't want to have him down as missing a day of school. Because if you stay till 12 or do half a day, that counts as a whole day, in terms of the 180 day mandatory. You have 180 days of school. So if you go half a day, that counts as a whole day. In terms of the 180 day count. So that's why they had us come in at 12. So they wouldn't have to make up this day. That's what it was. You put lives in danger. Our children's lives in danger. Well, my children are not in school here. Children's lives in danger. The employees of the school systems in those two counties in danger, just so you won't have to make up another day. It's idiotic to me. And I bring this up in terms of what Leonard was saying. The reason why I brought it up, because he made me think about it. I was going to bring it up anyway later on, but the retaliation thing. So I got a text from somebody last night, a family member, telling me that I should not be on social media blasting the leaders of the school system. I shouldn't be doing that. Basically, because they might retaliate against me. And, I didn't respond to their text. And I don't know why I didn't respond. But basically, my thinking behind is this. And I did think about that before I posted. Because I posted, posted the information, showed the ice on and when I was at school, showed ice on a table right outside my classroom. Ice on the ground, the snow, all this stuff. Excuse me. And I thought about it before I posted it, but I said, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be Carol Lively's son if I didn't say something. I wasn't raised like that. Now, hopefully, my the little bit of thing I put out there won't piss people off. But if it does, oh well, life goes on.
Let me add on to that, because that goes along with what we're talking about. The question is,
that's why I brought it up.
The question is, how many people are willing to protect somebody that's willing to speak out on your behalf? So if you got one person that's willing to say it, you don't have to be the spear, but you damn sure should be the rod. Not you. I'm talking about you become the spear. How many are y'all willing to just let them to break off the spearhead and the shaft keeps moving on? You could be the shaft. That's always the defining issue of our community. How much do you support people who speak out stuff that's on your behalf? Just because you're scared to say it, when you find somebody that's brave enough to say it, isn't it in your best interest to get behind those people? Support them financially, spiritually, emotionally. If you want them to make the fight, then you have to get behind those people. It goes right along the line of what he's talking about with somebody like Cassidy Hutchinson. Why should Kenneth do it?
Well, and that's something I was going to say about the Cassidy Hutchinson before you left. Even though they may go after Cassidy Hutchinson, I can pretty much guarantee she's going to have a whole community. Hold on. She's going to have a whole community that stands behind her.
Her daddy disowned her. She had to move in with her mom.
Ain't got it, maybe that daddy might, we ain't talking about her daddy. I'm talking about a whole bunch of people who are going to
give me evidence where you've seen that at.
I ain't saying I had to see it. What I'm saying is this: Cassidy Hutchinson is a white woman in America. Okay, they can say, "Hold on, listen to what I'm saying."
With the evidence, and I tell you what, who's done it for Marion Mosby? Who's done it for Liz Cheney?
Liz Cheney doesn't need our protection. Liz Cheney, like you said, she has a mechanism in place.
Oh my God, man!
And listen, hold on. Hey, listen, and I'm gonna be real honest with you about this. All this posturing and chest puffing out and all this shit that Donald Trump is talking about. He gonna get all these people. That shit's not gonna happen. Let's be real. All this shit that's going on in this country, he gonna waste valuable resources to go after people like that. He's causing more problems. He's gonna cause more problems for himself and his supporters than he knows. Because the rest of us, although
talking with logic, though.
Yeah, I come with logic. I come with logic.
But you're dealing with an illogical person.
Maybe.
So how
But
does that work?
there is a line that he will not cross. He
You
may
keep
talk
saying
shit.
that.
Like, it's like this.
Why do you have so
That
much faith?
person,
Can I ask you this on a personal note? Why do you have so much faith that that's the case, without any evidence?
why do I have so much
Why do
faith
you have
that's
so
the
much
case?
faith?
Because in the long run, he has more to lose than he has more to lose than he has to gain by going after them.
He's 78.
In the long run.
He's
Because
78.
listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. He thinks people think that he has blanket immunity to do what he wants to do. That's not the case. He
Says
steps
who?
across the wrong line.
Which one is it?
Huh?
Tell me
What?
which one you think it is. I'm just curious to know which line.
Which line?
Yeah.
Whatever the line is.
Oh, come on.
Whatever. Well, let's say this. Okay, hold on. I mean, his choice for nominee. Let's go back to his choice for nominee for Matt Gaetz. That was a line which I find kind of ironic, that his Republican supporters weren't willing to cross.
Not because
they weren't
of
going
him.
to let this dude in. Right. But that's a line. What I'm saying, Donald Trump nominated him. They weren't going to let him cross that line. They weren't going to let him cross that line. There's a line that they have. Now, that line may shift a little bit to the left or to the right or forward or backward a little bit, but there is a line that they won't let him cross. And going after people just because they oppose you or they testified against you or blah, 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 and all that stuff, that shit ain't going to happen, man.
He did it to
You know what? Because he does, well, I don't think he's going to last that long because really and truly, I think his health is declining.
Don't do that. Don't change the subject. He did it to Michael Cohen.
The subject.
He did it to Michael Cohen.
What did he do to Michael Cohen?
Michael Cohen was just about to be released under COVID restrictions, remember, in June of 2020.
But that was when he was a federal prisoner.
Wait. And he was
Michael Cohen is not a federal prisoner anymore.
Can I finish? And what he did, Michael Cohen talks about this all the time. I was about to be released. I was about to walk out. They came in, brought me back in, and threw me in solitary confinement because I wouldn't sign a non-disclosure agreement saying I wouldn't write a book. Michael Cohen has said emphatically he will go after his political opponents. Pam Bionde is saying that she will go after his political. What she said, they asked her the other day, "Are you going to go after prosecutors in the DOJ?" She said the bad prosecutors. So all I'm asking you is this.
Hold on. Okay, well, the thing is, she's saying she's going after the bad, quote unquote, bad prosecutors.
Right.
Okay.
And Merrick Garland, somebody said yesterday. I was watching this lady yesterday, a prosecutor out of New York. What's they called? St. Kenneth, the SUNY Southern District. What is it of New York? That's the big one, right? The one you used to work for.
SUNY is the school system. I mean, the college.
No, it's the Southern District of New York.
SDNY, Southern District of New York.
And the lady and the question, the black guy from Atlanta, the attorney, the one with the beard, the Q. I can't remember that. Asked her.
Charles something. I met him actually.
You're a former. No, not him. Charles Elias asked her. You're a former Manhattan prosecutor. Have you ever seen anything like this in your life where somebody got 34 counts and they had all the charges discharged? Because she was defending what Marshawn did. And she's like, no, I can't say I did. My question to you is, what line has he not crossed?
There's a lot of lines he hasn't crossed. We just don't know. Y'all, you really, okay, let me say this. As far as you know, has Donald Trump walked down the street and just shot somebody in the face?
No.
Has he done that?
No.
So let's just say, let's say that's one line he won't cross. Has he openly? Now he did commit, in my opinion, treason, but it was a gray area sort of thing. Has he went out and
Can you expand on that? What was the gray area?
No, I said the gray area because it was when he was holding up money to Ukraine. From that. Right. Yeah, that right there. Most people don't consider that. Yeah.
Good question. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is Michael Cohen subject to federal probation? No, I think he's done with probation. If I'm not mistaken, he's done.
We'll find out. Go ahead. Keep going.
What I'm saying is, there's a line that he will not cross because you can't come back from that. And there's a line that they will not let him cross because they realize he may not, the thing is, he may not think about the long-term effect of what he's going to do. But there are other people who do think about the long-term effect of what he's going to do and what he's talking about doing. Like this, I was looking at the weekend right before we came on the air, and they were talking about Trump cutting Medicare and Social Security. And, you know, as people like to say, that's the third rail of politics. You don't mess with those things because that's people's social net. And Republicans know if they do that, that's going to be detrimental to the party for years to come if you cut Social Security and you cut Medicare. Because there are a lot of MAGA supporters who are on Social Security and get Medicare. Now, they said that they may cut Medicaid. Medicaid is money that's given to states, where states dole out the money to people who are eligible for Medicaid. They may cut that. But even that is something they're going to have a hard problem with. Even cutting, Michael Steele was talking about them cutting, getting rid of the Affordable Care Act. What are you going to replace it with? A lot of his poor supporters, they use Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. They don't like, which is funny, they don't like Obamacare, but they love the Affordable Care Act. His supporters, they love it because it helps poor people with insurance. You cut out the Affordable Care Act, what are they going to have for insurance? They're still going to get sick. So those are lines that they will not cross. In terms of being petty, I don't think he's going to go after him. Not with any serious stuff anyway. He may talk shit. But in terms of going after people, sending the Justice Department to, and they go full tilt on somebody with investigations and do all this and do all that, I don't think it's going to happen. They can talk all the shit they want. It ain't going to happen.
Let me tell you what he's going to do. Let me tell you how he can do it. Because you never asked the question about how would you do it. Because I respect. I've never respected that you've never thought about being that diabolical. I can respect you as a human being. Say, man, I can't even think about being that diabolical, but I have. And what I will tell you is this:
because it means you're evil underneath. You're just an evil person.
It means that I can put myself in an evil situation and think about what evil people will do. Damn right. I would say I'll tell you what they did. He doesn't have to do it on a federal level. He'll just get all these AGs who are sympathetic to him to do it on a state level. You saw it happen in Texas. They literally went after that 81-year-old lady who had been a voter rights activist for Hispanic people. They went to her house and tore her house up. They'll do that. Ken Paxton will do stuff like that. Now,
and Ken Paxton got sued for that too.
Who cares if Ken Paxton got sued if she can't find an attorney that'll take on the case?
Take on the case. That's an easy one.
You keep talking about hypotheticals. I'm talking about stuff that's actually happened. That's why I keep saying.
And she did sue.
Kenneth, she just happened last July. She might be suing, but you know how long it takes for a suit to travel and how much money you got to have to file a lawsuit? They know that stuff. You don't just file a lawsuit and somebody just comes up and say, oh, I'm going to take on your lawsuit and spend all my time and effort. And that lawyer has to find a way to feed his family too. It doesn't work like that. And that's why I keep saying to you, just give me some evidence. I want you to give me some evidence because for me, I think what you ought to do is you prepare for the worst, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. If the worst don't happen, then you ain't, there's no harm done. But the truth of the matter is when Harry says, well, what does Zuckerberg do? I go, well, no, he jumped on that lady's page for a reason. It's like you said, why not jump on somebody else's page with a bigger following? The reason you don't jump on somebody like Roland Martin's page, Roland Martin will eat your ass up. That's why Mark Zuckerberg didn't jump on Roland Martin's page with over 1 million followers, because Roland Martin will be happy to engage him in something like that, eat your ass up. But you jump on somebody with 253 followers or somebody like me and you, because you think that, hey, they don't have the financial wherewithal to protect themselves. So then it comes back down to the same question you had the other day when you sent out that text, which in all probability, when somebody says, well, you know, it's going to be worried about retaliation. Why the hell would you send me a message about retaliation instead of sending me and saying, hey, man, you know what? Tell me what you're going to need in case they come after you. Tell me what, Kenneth, what you gonna need? Because I know they're gonna come out. So tell me what you gonna need, because man, you speak in my language. You need me to send you $10 to your GoFundMe account? And you may go, no, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna send it to you anyway. And I'm gonna get 100 other people to send it to you, because goddamn it, I don't know if they're gonna come after you, but I need you to keep talking that shit that you talking. I need you. That's the problem. Your family, whoever sent that, they need you. They need you. You're like an insurance policy. You don't know you need Kenneth until it's time for Kenneth to come in and step in on your behalf. And that's the problem with the community. So when Cassidy Hutchinson gets in trouble, I jumped on Cassidy Hutchinson's GoFundMe site and I sent her $10. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I said, you know what? Cassidy Hutchins could be a multimillionaire right now with a job at the White House if she just kept her mouth shut. And they told her that. They literally told her that before she went in to testify before the January 6th committee. Remember the attorney? Don't worry, we're going to take care of you. Just do what we tell you to do. She could have took that choice, but she didn't. So where are we in order to protect her from that, for taking the moral choice? Not saying, oh, somebody else is going to take care of it. Bullshit. It's not somebody else. It's
somebody. Listen. Cassidy Hutchinson is going to be all right, bro.
That's not, you missing the damn point, bro.
I ain't missing the point. The point I'm trying. The point. I understand. The point is this.
Okay,
it ain't always. Listen,
you
always talk about sending somebody money when somebody steps out. Cassidy Hutchinson is doing better than both of us. I guarantee that.
Let's say Kenneth Lively then. Let's use Kenneth Lively. Take Cassidy Hutchinson's name out of it since you caught up on it. I'm gonna use your name. You spoke up like you were supposed to. That's what you did. What you were supposed to do. What you were raised to do. Now it's my responsibility to make sure that you are protected in case there's retaliation that comes back to you. That's my job. My job is to say, hey man, what you need? Hey man, you good? Hey man, did somebody say something about your job? What you need? So that you feel safe enough to keep doing what you're doing. Not that you're not. So it doesn't have to be her. It's how do you protect the people who speak out on your behalf? Because they have shown that they will come after you. They have just shown, so let's use your name. And then when you finally start giving me proof about how you know Andrew McCabe had to sue Donald Trump after he got the FBI to deny his pension. Yeah, he won. But he sure went after it. He sure went after it. I forgot about that. He sure went after. He went after Donald McCabe. And what was the lady's name? He went after the sluts. What was the other FBI agent? The man and the lady that were having an affair. He sure went after them. So my question to you has been, what has given you evidence that he will not cross a line? I'm hoping John Thune don't cross a line, but John Thune didn't make me feel comfortable the other day, even though I thought about you when John Thune gave the answer he gave about Cash Patel. I was like, he's doing what Kenneth said he's doing. He not gonna signal to anybody what he's gonna do when the confirmation hearings come, and that's smart. I said that's smart. I'm not gonna get out here and tell the press that I'm gonna deny Cash Patel and have Donald Trump have all them knuckleheads calling my office and my house and doxing me. I'll just keep it to myself. And when the confirmation hearings come, people will see how I vote. That's smart. Didn't the government help Freeman Morris? Who? The FBI came and told them they had to move.
You talking about the two sisters?
The FBI came and told them they needed to move. They didn't offer them financial assistance.
But they get paid now.
We hope.
Oh no, they're gonna get their money. The only thing is they just waiting on those last little valuable things that what's his name is trying to hold on to.
You think he had $1 million in assets?
So what?
You think he had $1 million in assets?
Yeah, his apartment alone was worth more than $1 million. New York apartment was worth more than that. That he has memorabilia in there from all these years, especially when he was a mayor and everybody was giving him all kinds of stuff, signed stuff, memorabilia. That's worth a lot of money. And that's what he's trying to hold on to. He's trying to hold on to that stuff. He don't care about that apartment. He's trying to hold on to the memorabilia. And he's talking about some Rolex watch that he got and this and all that. That's what he's getting in trouble for, getting held in contempt for. It ain't that apartment. The apartment is worth more than $1 million by itself.
Now, the truth of the matter is when Shay Moss and Ruby Freeman were going through that, I don't know if you don't like me saying it or not. When we found out, and they still were catching hell, and we found out they were catching hell because it came out quite quickly when Rudy Giuliani said that they were passing votes around like crack, which is what he said. Remember, that's what he said. Like they were passing around like crack. I was like, this man right here. What do you think about Marcus and Freeman's mental health that are going through their ordeal? Oh, I think their mental health is shot.
I think that's also, yeah. Of course, they're gonna need mental health care. Yeah, mental health care after all of that. Now that part I agree with you on. They went after them. They
need to move to the blackity is black neighborhood and a cul-de-sac. Let everybody know they are who they are. So their neighbors basically say anybody that come down this cul-de-sac with the wrong idea might be leaving here with their ass kicking. Because we're not gonna let them not feel safe for doing their job. Bag. Yeah, we're not gonna let them feel safe for doing. And I've been saying this since George Zimmerman. This might get us banned. I've been saying it wasn't the Trayvon Martin thing that hurt us with the George Zimmerman thing, which hurt us because we let it get adjudicated. It was him talking shit afterwards. And ever since then, they decided they're gonna make a decision and say, oh, they'll take anything. And they just been doing it over and over and over again up until we 12 years out from Trayvon winning. When was Trayvon? 2012 or 2014? We 10 years out yet?
I can't remember. And it's Trayvon.
I'm sorry, Trayvon Martin. What I think about him, I don't think they ever feel safe again amongst who protected them? Who? Which you know what? I remember something that this is a good thing. I remember watching Wade. What was his name? Fafani? What was his name? The Wade guy. The Wade guy with Fafani was.
I don't remember his first name.
Damn, we forgetting everybody's name, aren't we? I know he got on Joy Reid.
You remember his last name? That's the count.
He got on Joy Reid's show, and she asked him, "Were you worried about your safety?" And he said something that I was proud of. He said, "I wasn't worried about my safety." He says, "Actually, my chapter of the Alphas came to me and said, 'Don't worry about your safety.' And they paid for 24-hour security around my house. I wasn't worried. I felt protected. They paid for 24-hour security around my house. They did that. They came to me and said they were going to do that. And that's the way it's supposed to be." So he wasn't worried about speaking out. He's like, "I ain't worried about nobody rolling up on my house. That's going to be a problem." Just like Bonnie got them dudes who you ever seen them who they don't play on her security detail.
Oh, them dudes is big.
And they don't play because they don't play.
Them dudes was big.
But at the end of the
day,
and
I'm wondering if they're investigators from her department. I'm pretty sure they are from the DA's office, because I used to do that. I was in when I worked in the DA's office. That was my first law enforcement job in the DA's office as an investigator. Although we didn't really provide any protection for the DA at that time, because nobody was bothering DAs. Right. But I'm sure at this point now they do stuff like that.
But the fact of the matter,
thanks, Nathan Wade.
The fact of the matter, like Lenny, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. The fact of the matter is he felt safe to be able to tell his story. It wasn't no bullshit that was about to happen. It wasn't
I'll say this.
It wasn't no white boys rolling up in my neighborhood and no pickup trucks and no Confederate flags rolling up in front of his house without them thinking, that might not be a good idea. That's the point. The point is you wrote a text, you said something that needed to be said, and my point is Kenneth needs to be protected, period. And if somebody, instead of sending me a text, aren't you worried about retaliation? The text should have been what you need from me. Take that coward's ass text and send that to somebody else. What you need from me, man? Because I'm so proud of you for speaking out. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No.
Well, I mean, let's say this. I also thought about this too. If you are a leader and you can't take criticism, then you're a poor leader, because you're not going to get everything right. But when you get it wrong, you need to take responsibility for it and admit, yeah, you know what, that might not have been a good idea. Because I'm always of the belief it's always better to protect everybody. In this case, protect the students. Because if you're all about the students, that's what you're supposed to do. Protect the students and the people who work for you. Protect them first. When I was a sergeant, my whole thing was to protect especially I worked at Clark, protect protect the students, the people in the area, but also protect my people. And that included protecting them from my bosses. So when you that type of leader, you always do what's right first, and deal with the consequences of what's right later. That's my opinion.
It's 10:57. I want to tell you something. Marion sent that out. As a matter of fact, I'm going to forward it to you. So Marion sent out Georgia. Marion, make sure I get it right. Georgia is the first one that releases information about who voted in the last election. Georgia is the first state. Typically, they get their information out real quick. So Donald Trump won state of Georgia by 115,000 votes. Marion, make sure I get this right, because I'm not reading the article. But between 2016 and 2024, 400,000 Black men under the age of 50 did not vote.
What's the percentage of that, of the Black men? And this is the percent of registered voters, right?
Right. You're only talk about the registered voters. They're talking because they only can get the information from the registered voters. How many people voted?
So 400,000 Black men
under the age of 50.
Under the age of 50 did not vote. Now, what percentage of Black men under the age of 50 that is? That's the question I'm asking. No,
that's the point. You can only, what we're talking about is the people who voted from 2016 to 2024. Voters, right. Not anybody else. 400,000. I hope Marion's fact checking me on this. 400,000 of the men who voted under the age of 50
2016
from 2024 did not vote.
So now what I'm asking is this. Of the percentage of Black male voters, registered voters in the state of Georgia, what percentage is that 400,000? That's what I'm asking. Of the
6%.
6%. So the 6% drop 6%. In voting among Black men under the age of
50.
Under the age of 50.
50.
400,000. And Donald Trump won by 115,000. There's the point that I'm trying to make, that I've been saying all along. Everybody wants to talk, well, 98% of the Black men or 89% of Black men voted for Kamala Harris. How many of them didn't vote at all? That 6% is huge. And that's just in one state. And that whole, like Lindy just said, it doesn't matter, that 400,000 can shape a narrative. We would not have, and I'm telling you this straight up, and I've been saying this for years, if Black people voted at the rate that we should be, 80+%, at least 80% of our community registered and voted, 80%, we wouldn't have the leadership in the state of Georgia that we have now. Not even close. They would not be, if 80%, and I'm not even talking about the 80%, all 80% have to vote for Democrats. Just 80% of our community voted. We would not have those stupid ass leaders that we have in the state of Georgia. It would not happen. 80%.
Here, let me give you the quote. So I want to make sure I get it right, because Harry just asked that. It's from the Brennan Center. All told, Black Georgians would have cast an additional 400,000 ballots if their turnout rate matched that of white Georgians. Because I want to make sure I get it right, because they specifically talked about Black men. Okay. Just 71% of Black men under the age of 50 who voted in 2020, what you just said, cast a ballot this year. By contrast, 81%, here you go, Harry, of white men under 50 who voted in 2020 did so again this year. Same, your argument still stands. And
Marion says 70%. So even if we go with 70%, that's a big deal. We would not have this ignorant leadership if we would just vote.
So the question I got for you is, are you an effective state rep if you can't get your constituency out to vote?
I know it's that's a rhetorical question. So
No, the pause was so long that I thought you were going to not to be Kenneth Lively, and you
I
wanted
know
to
it's a rhetorical. I assume you were asking a rhetorical question
no,
because we both know the answer. Yeah, you're not effective. Yo, if I'm gonna say this, and I've been saying this for years, we need to stop trying to catch people after they turn 18. If you want to get somebody excited about voting and participating in our government and on whatever level, it needs to start taking place before they get into high school. Start with ninth grade and just go from there. Every year, talk about the importance of voting. Show them how voting impacts their life, how government impacts their life. Those are all things. Oh, they didn't already shut us down on Instagram. Did you get that?
yeah. We only get it for an hour. You good? You only get it for an hour. We only supposed to be on. Anytime we over, they shut us down. We only get it for an hour.
Why am I still? What's this thing? Oh, but we just need to go ahead and start teaching civic responsibility at a younger age. I mean, when I was when I did the last school I taught at before I came to Glen Hills, we were talking. I would tell my students, well, actually, the last two schools, one McNair and Mount Zion, I would do voter registration at the schools, and I would give these are seniors now. Most of the majority of them were seniors. I give them a sticker that says I'm registered to vote. And you should saw the excitement on their face. Just getting a sticker to put on their shirt, they were excited. Now imagine if we started in the ninth grade talking about the importance of voting and how it affects their lives and all that. It could counteract some of the negative rhetoric that we have in our community that voting doesn't count. We could do that.
Are you suggesting that the hip hop culture encourages young black men not to vote? That's my question to you. And you're gonna come on the show since you ask all these deep questions. You need answers. So I'll send you an invite. Just let me know you're ready. Are you suggesting that? And I feel the nudge, Marion. Look, let me say this, and I'm gonna let Kenneth finish. One of the things we always are in danger of is people being able to throttle our content when we don't say the right thing. And we always think people's ice is colder than ours, and we don't want to be uncomfortable in making changes that we need to make. We are so comfortable with convenience, and that we don't want to do the uncomfortable thing even when it's better for us. So fan base, what Marion just mentioned, is a black social media site started by Isaac Hayes Jr. that I'm on, that I'm gonna start doing more stuff on, because I'm not worried about Isaac Hayes Jr. throttling my content. He raised 17 million on his first one. He's now raised about 5 million on the second one. You can go in and buy 5 fan base shares for $3.99 is the minimum. You could do it on Start Engine. We have got to start supporting social media apps that get our stories out and are on our side. You can also jump on Spill, which is an alternative to Twitter, started by 3 black women who used to work at Twitter. Kerry Washington just gave them 7 million units, $7 million. And I encourage all of y'all, if you're not going to use Fanbase, at least download it. It's free. We need to be able to combat, Isaac Hayes Jr. We need to be able to combat, while you can, people like Zuckerberg saying ain't shit you can do about it. And stop being so comfortable that everybody has to see your pictures and your vacations or whatever on Facebook. If they aren't going to do it, it should be transactional. It should be transactional. You know, it comes back down to the same thing that Kenneth and I say all the time. Just start watching, Roland Martin show and send him some money. I subscribe to Roland Martin show. He's $2.99 a month because he needs my money. He gets my stories out. Radio One. I encourage y'all to go and give them $2.99 a month. I encourage you to start just download Black Planet, even if you don't use it. Hey, I know it's a social media site and it's really social and it can be some wild shit on there. But hell, we watched Tubi. I just deleted Tubi. Tubi when I found out that Rupert Murdoch owned it. I'm not giving him more money because Rupert Murdoch did the same thing with UPN. That's how they got Foxes with Black eyeballs. Rock. In Living Color was the first Super Bowl show. He didn't give them any money from that. That's why you got Super Bowl halftime shows, because of In Living Color. In Living Color did the first Super Bowl halftime show, and they weren't even on the Super Bowl. They just decided they were going to do a Super Bowl halftime show. Everybody left the Super Bowl to go to Fox, and Rupert Murdoch was like, oh, shit. And didn't even pay Keenan Iron Wayans for the idea. Now it's a spectacle. You have got to, me and Kenneth, he hadn't said he disagreed. I believe that people like Kenneth, when they speak out, have to be protected. I totally understand it. I totally get that, hey, there's going to be some darts coming back this way. And those folks need to know, hey, you know what? You put your hands on Kenneth in some kind of way, you can be touched too. You could be touched. If you decide you're going to damage him, don't forget that you got a home and all that other stuff too. Because if they will go after Rusty Bowers, who is the head of the Republican Party in Arizona, when his daughter is dying of cancer in his house, and be out there in front of his house every day, you are a nobody. They do not, like Roland said, they don't understand anything else with ruthlessness. Whoever Kenneth's family member is that sent that text, man, don't send that goddamn text again. Call him and ask him if he needs some money.
Oh, I always need money. I ain't gonna turn down the money.
Right. Hey, call him, do that.
But hey, listen. I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead.
What I did yesterday, put on Facebook yesterday, is nothing compared to what I'm about to do within the next few weeks. That ain't nothing. I'm about to do some stuff. I'm about to do some stuff that I'm planning to do some stuff that's gonna cause some serious waves here in Augusta. Because I ain't come back here just to be a model citizen. Well, I guess the stuff I'm planning on doing, it would make me a model citizen. I came to shake some trees. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers. I'm about to piss some people off.
You need to go ahead and set up your little GoFundMe account so we can support you in what you're doing. And don't tell me, don't tell me I don't need the money. Man, shut up. Just set up the account. Say, hey, this is what we're gonna need to do, because you got it. This is a capitalist society. In order to make change, you got to have money. Just like you got to withhold money.
Now, I will say this. I will say this. I may need money.
Yes, wait. So you heard about that, right? Did you hear about this?
What? You talking about the wife of, the husband of the senator?
Change his phone number, because Roland put his phone number out on the Roland Martin show.
Was that the one who didn't shake president, vice president's hand?
That's how you let people know they could be touched. You want to harass? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. You want to step in people's neighborhood and start that bullshit because you think that you can't be touched? Well, guess what? You want to come into black neighborhoods and cut that fool because you got the right of free speech? Yeah, but it might have some consequences to it. Think twice about it. They don't
do that too often.
Think twice about it. And go ahead.
But let me finish my point.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
I may need to do the things that I want. Money may be involved, but it's not for me. It's not going to be for me. It's not, believe me, it's not going to be to help me or anything like that. It's going to help what I want to do.
You don't care about that. If it helps you,
what I'm going to do when I get ready to do it, because I got some stuff set up. I got some stuff set up within the next few weeks. I'm gonna let y'all know what I'm talking about, because I've seen some stuff around here that disturbs me, and I can't deal with it. I'm sorry. Carol Lively didn't raise no punk. Carol Lively raised a rebel. Somebody said that to me yesterday. You just intend on being rebellious, aren't you? I was like, yeah, that's who I am. I am. That's it. I'm a rebel. That's who I am as a person. And I apologize for who I am, but I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to change it. I'm almost 60 years old. There's no way in hell I'm going to change at this point in my life. So I'll let you know within the next couple of weeks what I'm planning on doing, and I will need y'all help. Hopefully, the financial part won't be in there, but I will need your help and support in doing what I'm trying to do, and I'll let you know what it is.
Stop saying that. Stop saying that. Hopefully, the financial part is stop. You don't have to have no explanation to us. We got to get out of that. I'm not looking to you to try that you're gonna cheat me out of my money. Man, take the money and do what the hell you got to do it to be effective. We got to stop making that narrative has got to go. You need the money to do whatever it is you're gonna need to do. So let's start soliciting. And Black folks need to say, if you can spend money on this, you can spend money on the people that's trying to help you win the policy. Without the policy, none of the other stuff matters. You and I both know that. We know that. Without the policy, one of the reasons why we don't have effective state reps is because we don't support them financially. They don't have super PACs. They make $22,000 a year up at the state capitol. That means they still
that thing right there. I don't understand why we have part-time legislators in this state. That makes no sense to me at all, because you have part-time people making full-time decisions. That doesn't make any sense. They have their part-time salaries, their part-time job has full-time implications on the rest of us. So why aren't they there full-time? That's something that needs to be changed in the state of Georgia. And I'm not sure there are other states that have the same thing, with the state senators and state representatives are part-time. But I think that's something that we need to look at in the state of Georgia and change that. Even if I don't know if it's in the Constitution, and I'm pretty sure it is in the Constitution, but that needs to be changed.
Let's get you on the first step first. Then you can start doing all that. Just let us know when. Now go and take us out. Let's get us on the first step.
It ain't. First of all, it ain't what you think it is, Mary. Mary,
I don't
it's
care
not
what
what
it
you
is.
think it is. It's not
That's
what you
okay.
think it is. So don't get that out your head. That's not what I'm talking about. But
we're not doing
as I said,
on this show.
All right. And one last thing I want to mention a little bit before we go. This the fires in California that are happening. The fact that they are blaming all of this on Karen Bass, the mayor.
What came out this morning? Oh yeah, horrible.
Blaming all of this stuff on Karen Bass, like she went out and started the fires.
She just got in office. She just started in January of last year.
They're talking about, there was a $17 million budget cut. This is the fire chief said.
Over $17
million fire over 6 years. And everybody's blaming that on Karen Bass. And Karen Bass just got in office. She didn't even had a chance to do that.
And she fired her yesterday, right?
No, she didn't fire her. She didn't.
Yes, she did.
No, she didn't. They announced it this morning that she wasn't fired.
Oh, what happened?
That was just a rumor that somebody started.
So she hasn't been fired.
She hasn't been fired. But they want to blame the fires, the lack of water pressure on Karen Bass. Karen Bass hasn't been in office 2 weeks yet. They want to blame that on her. They want to blame the fire on her. The fact that the fire was so severe, which is kind of crazy. This is as we said, that storm, that hurricane that came through Augusta, Georgia, a once in a lifetime thing. Now they have fires in California all the time. Fires that rage out of control for weeks at a time. There's nothing new about fires in California. The only difference is this is in a more populated area of California. That doesn't happen. LA. And the fact that the water pressure was low, this was happening, that was happening, and all this stuff. And then the fact of the winds just blew this stuff out. Nobody expected this.
She's been married since 2022.
Who, Karen Bass?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So the blaming it on her like she went out and started the fires is crazy. But of course, whenever something happens, they want to blame Black people. Like we had something to do with that.
Your lack of intelligence, with your small brains.
We got small brains with big lips, so we can talk about stuff, but we can't do nothing.
We can't think about it though.
Anyway, yeah, it's after 11. It's 11:16. See what?
That,
What'd you say?
I didn't say anything.
It's 11:16, y'all. Y'all have a good week. Thanks for joining us for this very lively, pun intended, conversation. We will see y'all next week. Hopefully, the sun is shining in Augusta now, and I think the temperature is going up. So, we survived the ice storm of 2025. So that's a good thing. Anyway, y'all have a good week, and we'll see y'all next week. Be safe. Deuces.
And I'm just gonna say this, Harry, you're right. It's floating around. There's rumors floating around everywhere, and what they're doing is they doubling down on that if they had been white men firefighters, and that's what I'm talking about when I say people like Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk say that stuff that hurts our community because Charlie Kirk know there ain't no consequences for it. That's why he does it. So y'all think about that for next week. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you later.